What's up, Facebook? This is Jeff Thomas from the Nasdaq Entrepreneurial Center here in San Francisco. I'm here with Steven Wyant, a data architect for the Cincinnati Reds. Steven, welcome to Nasdaq.
Thank you for having me.
Great.
Excited.
Well, Steven, why don't you start off? Tell us what a data architect is and what role that plays in a professional sports team like the Cincinnati Reds.
So data architect, there's a lot of different ways of describing it, but at the end of the day, it's about surfacing data to all the different parts of a business organization. For the Reds, that's exactly what we're trying to do. The data types that we work with are obviously a little bit more baseball-centric, so when you're talking about that, you're talking about statistics, but you're also talking about engaging customers within the stadium or outside the stadium to sell more tickets or to get them to buy, specific concessions or, even memorabilia within the stadium.
Very cool. Yeah, I saw the movie Moneyball where they started applying more data to baseball, and then all of a sudden the A's were winning 100 games a year.
If only the Reds could be that way too.
That's right.
We could win some more ball games. That'd be a terrific thing as well. So.
That's awesome. Well, I grew up in Dayton, Ohio, so long-time Chris Sabo fan.
Oh, yeah.
There's a throwback for you.
He's a great player. We love him.
Awesome. So I understand you guys have been doing a lot around fan engagement. And nowadays you go to the ballpark, sure, you buy the ticket, but there's a ton of other ways that Major League Baseball is looking to engage with the fans, both at the ballpark and outside. So what are you guys doing on some of your customer loyalty programs?
So we have multiple ways that we engage with customers. We have kids clubs for children all the way up to teenage years until they kind of graduate to become adults, and then we invest with them in a different way. But we also have a general loyalty program that we're trying to get off the ground as well on how does a customer engage with us in its entirety. Like I said, concessions and memorabilia and other ways that they can sign up and have activities with the Reds, whether that be meeting Chris Sabo or Barry Larkin or certain fan engagement activities that we have. And one of the things we've struggled with a little bit in the past is taking all those interactions with these fans and bringing them all together in a kind of a condensed and easy to read format in a quick and accessible way. So we've started looking at technologies that have allowed us to do that, which is when people come into the stadium, we know who that person is, how they have potentially engaged with us in the past, and how they might be interested in engaging with us in the future, either during that ball game or right after that ball game, or certain things that we might send to them after the fact, just to make sure that did they enjoy their time at the ballpark, and then where we can kind of improve upon that.
That's awesome. And so who are the technology vendors that you guys are in the process of deploying to support those initiatives?
Sure. So the biggest thing that we're looking at right now is the overall database architecture to store all this data. And we wanted to find a partner who could obviously ingest that data very, very quickly, because we want to know instantaneously that someone has walked into the stadium, but then also trigger some events past that. So we've looked at a company called Couchbase. That is a NoSQL database that allows for us to ingest data within milliseconds, and then also to do some quick analytics to say, this is a person and this is how they've done and what they've interacted with in the past, and what we could potentially immediately offer them as they walk in the door, or in the seventh inning and they're watching the ball game. What could we do to make them enjoy that baseball game even more, whether the game be 7-6, or whether it be a 10-0 blowout for the Reds, hopefully. We can see where we want to do. If that's a seat upgrade, whether that's sending them potential baseball statistics about, they're watching a ball game and, a pitcher throws the ball and we can tell them immediately that was a 85-mile-an-hour fastball, and there's a thing that MLB has. It's called a nasty factor that is a rating of how tough that ball was to hit. And if you were able to send them immediately and saying, well, that was a 95% nasty factor on that pitch, well, that makes something to converse about and talk about while you're sitting there and watching a game and enjoying what's going on. You're enjoying the social aspects of being at a baseball game, which at the end of the day is what is so important about sports and is fun.
Now, can you guys co-brand the Nasty Factor with Rob Dibble and the rest of the Nasty Boys in the 90s?
We would like to do that. Maybe put a little Rob Dibble's face on the actual, the thing that we're actually sharing with the fans, or put it up on the scoreboard, and that would be kind of interesting to
as
be able to do.
As long as he's not throwing the balls into the stands like he did that one time.
Yes.
Leave that out.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think the world is our oyster with the technology such as Couchbase, where it enables you to do things at speed and in real time, and do the analytics in the background at the same time that in older, more monolithic technologies you just couldn't do it. So we're really excited about the possibilities with it, and I think the future is bright for engaging with the fans in a way that we haven't in the past. So
that's great. And how big is your team? What does it look like? How many people are actually working on this challenge?
So the Reds organization, from an IT perspective, is not a huge organization. Obviously, we're about 15 to 25 people, technologists, and that's spread around different things from servers to data to reporting to business analysts, and working with the different business lines to understand what their needs are. So we have guys that wear a lot of hats throughout the organization. And we need tools that, because of that are fairly quick and easy to understand, and then to surface those insights quickly and rapidly in multiple ways. Things that the business sometimes asks for, they don't want to wait, right? You have something that's going on within the ticketing world, and if they need to increase tickets for a specific game, well, they don't want to wait on that, right? They need to enact that marketing plan immediately. And they need to target the results off of that very quickly too for the very next game, because these games, it's 82 home games, and they're back to back to back, and you want to be able to react before waiting for the next season, for instance.
Now, professional baseball teams aren't the only types of organizations that are looking to do real-time customer analytics. What kind of advice do you have for other organizations who are looking to launch similar programs to make smarter decisions around their data?
Sure. I think one of the important things for us, or at least for me, was to understand that one technology doesn't necessarily solve all of your issues, right? When I was talking about some of the monolithic or older database technologies, there is a need for them, right? There's a pathway to create historical analytical capabilities. At the same time, what they're not good at, and where Couchbase will hopefully help us, is in that real-time and very fast need of working with real-time data, and then being able to surface those and allow people to make decisions in the present, instead of waiting for that that longer-running process, or for those changes to occur. And we want to have both of those, and I think every company wants that, whether that be baseball, whether that be retail, or whether that be healthcare. I think everyone is kind of searching for those abilities to not just work in the past and the present, but in the real world as well. So when you're looking at technologies and you're trying to understand, you have to look at specific technologies that are going to fill those certain gaps that you want to do.
Well, Steven, I always think of the national pastime as a great way to relax on a Sunday while I take a nap, but now I know that it's actually powered by real-time analytics through Couchbase. So thanks for sharing your insights today, and thanks for visiting Nasdaq.
Yes, thank you.